Finally, after so many years of being gatekept by exorbitant prices and like crazy buyouts, I can finally finish my hero deck. It's been a long time coming. I've spent 2 years building this deck, just piecing it out over time. I started off with the legendary hero decks, being able to pick up some of the Destiny hero stuff along with the Shadow Mists and like the Polys and Mass Change and Dark Claw. And then over time I picked up the Stratos because it was reprinted in gold. And recently with the Ghost from the Past 2 and the Legendary Duelist Season 3 reprints, I can finally finish this deck because not everything is super expensive now. The only kind of expensive card still is DPE, but that went down a lot since Verte got banned. And Fusion Destinies are pretty cheap now. You can pick them up for I think like a few dollars, they're not too bad. But the deck also recently got really cool support in Power of the Elements, which makes it a lot better in my opinion. The new like Engaged Neospace, like EN Engaged Neospace, EN Wave, I think my favorite contact or something like that. Those are kind of bad. They're not really worth running. I wouldn't run them yet. There's not a really good way for the fusion strategy to be working because the Link monster like Cross Crusader is nuts. So is Wonder Driver, and you really want to keep on running those. And you don't want to lock yourself into pure fusions. But Spirit of Neos is pretty good. We have to wait until EN Shuffle comes out, which I'm going to predict is going to come out in this recent Battle of Legends, Crystal's Revenge, because that is our import set from the OCG. So I think because the EN Shuffle was released in Animation Chronicle 2022 in the OCG, we should be able to get it very soon in the Battles of Legends. When we get that, we're going to be running one elemental hero, Spirit of Neos, because you can EN Shuffle a Stratos or Shadow Mist away, and then you can summon out Spirit of Neos, which will search you a Polymerization, as well as searching you Instant Contact, which is a crazy extender in the deck and is exactly what the deck needed. The only issue is heroes still don't have an Omni Negate. They don't have a really good going first play, but right now their going first is still pretty good. You can end on DPE Dark Law, and maybe a Plasma, which is usually more than enough to combat the meta, especially tier elements because they can't start milling because the Dark Law just banishes everything. So they better open a Dark Ruler No More in order to stop your plays, or usually they will lose from that. Because not a lot of decks can either get out, they can't get over the Plasma either. And DPE just recurs itself over and over and over and is a very hard monster to get over, especially because of the fact that it drops their attacks by maybe 1200 because of all your heroes in the graveyard. But I really do like one card that came out from Power of the Elements, which is Cross Keeper. Cross Keeper, it sucks it was printed as a common, but is a great extender for the deck. Cross Keeper can act as a Monster Reborn, but it negates the monster's effects, which is really good for heroes because if they out your heroes like on board, then usually you can't make into your links, but this really helps you with that. Not to mention, it can also special summon a hero from your hand. So if you have Crosskeeper plus a Stratos, that is full combo. What you can do is you can Stratos, add Stratos, Crosskeeper to summon the extra Stratos to add another hero monster, which could usually be like Ferris if you have one more hero monster in your hand. Then what you can do is just go throughout your whole play. When you start going into your elemental hero fusions, you can banish the Crosskeeper from your graveyard to draw 2, then discard 1. Or I think it's draw 2, put 1 in the deck. I might be confusing Liquid Soldier with that. But still, you have the Liquid Soldier, draw 2, plus the Crosskeeper, draw 2. And of course you put back 1, but you're still getting draw 2 net, which is crazy for drawing like your power cards and being able to continue playing through your opponent's turn. I love the new support. I think it was great. We still need to have a hero that Omni negates and easy to get out. But besides that, the new support was awesome, and I hope that you guys will enjoy this hero deck profile, and hopefully you guys can take this to regionals, which are happening soon, and do well with it. And so let's get right into this deck profile. We're first going to begin with our elemental hero monsters. To start with, we're going to be running normal package. Well, I think this is normal. Some people say run 2 of this. We're going to run 3 elemental hero Stratos. Stratos is great. What it does is when it's normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects, destroy a spell or trap card on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card, or add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand, which can be another Stratos. As I was saying earlier, you can basically do a Stratos plus, if you have a Crosskeeper also, you can normal summon Stratos, add another Stratos, Crosskeeper to summon the other Stratos, and then activate the Stratos again, because it's not a once per turn, to be able to add a Ferris to your hand. Stratos is the best card in the deck, in my opinion. You can usually also trigger its effects, so for destroying spell and traps. Helps against like an Eldritch matchup. The only issue is if you're under Mystic Mine, this doesn't do anything because, of course, usually this will be negated from the Mystic Mine. Can't activate its effects. Besides that, we're going to be running 2 Shadow Mists. I think 2 Shadow Mists is more than enough. You don't really need 3 in this deck. If you're running Engage Neospace, you could probably run 3 because it would be a good discard off of it or send. But I think 2 is fine in a normal hero deck, especially because this one is running the Lynx. Then, to finish off our Elemental Hero monsters, we're also running 1 Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, which was reprinted in Legendary Duels Season 3. Looks amazing as a prismatic secret rare, or just a secret rare. And it says, when this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 lower hero monster from your graveyard, except Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, special summon it. If this card uses fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2, then discard 1. Which is amazing, because what you can do is you can Miracle Fusion Liquid Soldier plus like a Stratos or something, make your absolute 0, and then you can just draw 2, discard 1, and it's great for your plays. It helps you get to your like important cards like Mass Change and stuff. And then the last card we're running is 1 Elemental Hero Not Honest Neos. Sometimes you might just have to normal summon Stratos, and if you have like a really bad hand, then add Honest Neos, and then basically go into battle to beat over one of their monsters. You go into battle, Stratos is 1800, so what you would do is you would attack with Stratos. During damage step, activate Honest Neos. He gains 2500, which puts him at a 43, and usually that's enough to beat over most monsters. Honest Neos, the other effect doesn't matter, where if you actually have it on the field, you can discard a hero monster and it gains the attack. I would never worry about that. But that's our Elemental Hero lineup. I'd say it's pretty standard: 3 Stratos, 2 Shadow Mist, 1 Liquid, and 1 Honest Neos. The Honest Neos is kind of like a flex spot. I've seen some people play it and some people don't. But let's go on into our Vision Hero package. We're going to be running 3 Ferris, we're going to be running 2 Vion, and then 1 Increase. I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, 1 Increase? What happens if you draw it? Yeah, that's my response also. It's kind of sucks if you draw the Increase. It's the one real brick in the deck, but there's ways that you can still play through it, especially with the new support. You don't necessarily need Increase for your plays. Vion's also a pretty good normal summon. If it's normal or special, what you can do is you can send a hero monster from your deck to the grave. Usually it's Shadow Mist, and then you can also, and it's a trigger effect, you can activate Vion after that resolved, and basically banish a hero from your grave to add a poly from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good. I really do like that. Of course, the combo is usually Ferris, discard, set Increase, Increase effect in the spell and trap, tribute a Ferris or something else. Usually if I have Stratos plus Ferris on the field, I'll tribute the Ferris so I won't get like super polyed for 2 darks. Then what you would do is you'd activate Increase effect, summon out the Vion, and then Vion effect to dump, and then what you can do is you can add the poly afterwards. Normal combo line, if you know what the Vision Heroes do, then you'll be used to this. If you wanted to, you could cut the Honest Neos and then run 2 Increase to have more consistency, and you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't brick as much, but I think 1 is good enough to hide in the deck, so you don't really care much about that. If you're running 2, that means that you might see 1 in your hand, but then the other one would be in the deck. The only issue is if you're running 2, then you would more consistently see this in your hand, which you don't want to see, instead of running the single. Then we're going to go off into our Destiny Hero package. We're running 1 Denier, we're running 2 Malicious, and then we're running 1 Plasma. You guys know if you're a hero player, you know this. Mali's at 2, but Denier is basically the 3rd copy of Malicious. There's ways that you can combo off and basically get your Denier or your Mali to hand, or Denier to the graveyard and Mali in hand. Then what you would do is you would poly off the Mali plus something on the field, make a Sunrise, then basically trigger the Mali, bring a Mali from the deck, then do your Link plays for Crusader, activate Denier, put the Mali back in the deck, and then summon Mali again. You have a good resource loop with this. Plasma is pretty good. I don't know. It's all right. You have to tribute 3 monsters to summon it, which you can do off of your Vision Hero line pretty easily, and you can oftentimes get 3 hero monsters that you can just tribute off for plasma, but I don't know how great it is this format. It's pretty good against Splight. They can't activate, like, if they were to summon any of the Splites like Blue, then Blue's not big enough to beat over a plasma. Jet's not big enough. Even Gigantic Splight I don't think is big enough, because even though it would turn into 3200, its effects is negated, so it's still like in 16, which means that they can't really beat over your plasma in the Splight matchup, which is pretty good. I would say in the Splight matchup, go for plasma over anything else. However, in the tier limit matchup, I think Rhino Heart is 2000, so they can easily beat over your plasma with that. But I'm still running this for right now. I may cut it and change it for some other things, but I'll see in the future. But I think that this ratio is pretty good at the moment. Then we're running the Evil Hero package. We're running 1 Dusted Gold and the Dark Calling. I had a talk with one of my friends at my locals. They were saying that a Dusted Gold is more of a win more card. I still like the Dusted Gold because they said if you get to the point where you're able to break your opponent's board, you don't need the Malicious Bane from the extra. But I had the space because instead of these two, if I had droplets, I would have played 2 droplets. But I think that this is pretty good going second at the moment, because if you're able to get like your Ferris to the graveyard and you have a Dusted Gold in hand, then you're able to make your Malicious, and at least it can't be destroyed by card effects and can't be destroyed by battle. There's still a lot of things that can get over it, like it can be bounced, it can be banished, it can be returned, it can like be tributed over, which sucks, but it's still enough that I think it's worth running just for the board breaking potential. Now we're gonna get off into the new cards that I run. I'm running 2 Crosskeeper and 2 Instant Contact. Crosskeeper is the nuts. I've talked about it already. I don't need to explain more about it. It's basically like Liquid Soldier, but an extender. I love it. Instant Contact is also pretty good. If you draw it, what you can do is you can pay 1000 life points, special summon 1 level 7 or lower elemental hero, or Neospatial monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. The other part doesn't matter. We're not running elemental hero Neos, which means that they are negated. They can't attack. And also, it's returning the extra deck during the end phase. But you don't care about that because you're just using it as extender. So if you open Instant Contact plus Stratos plus Crosskeeper, that's nuts. I mean, you can usually go through most plays through that. You can go through a lot of interruption. Instant Contact, I think, is a good way to get through a lot of boards right now, especially if they interrupt your plays with heroes. It sucks on its own, but in conjunction with other heroes, it's great. When we have Ian Shuffle, you can drop an Instant Contact to 1, then run 1 elemental hero Spear of Neos, and then you have to find 3 spots for Ian Shuffle. But I love these cards. I think it's a great addition to the hero archetype for right now. So let's get off into the rest of this. We're running 3 A Hero Lives. Yeah, it's unlimited. I would of course run it. You pay half your life points, special summon a level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. It's ash bait, to say the least. You pay the 4,000 and then they ash you. Yeah, it sucks, but at least you wasted their ash. What you could do then is, it's not once per turn, so if you have another Hero Lives, activate Hero Lives again, pay 2,000, then keep on playing. We're running Double Fusion Destiny. It's at 2. Great card. Allows you to play through a lot of things. You can summon DPE with it. Fuel your graveyard with Denier and Malicious, and then keep going for your hero plays. Of course, you have to run this. We're running triple Super Poly. Super Poly is amazing in this format. Outs the Splight board. Outs the tier board as well. Outs a lot of decks at the moment, to say the least. I love Super Poly. With your Crosskeepers plus your Liquid Soldiers, you're basically drawing 4 and then you have to put back 2 or discard 1, put back 1. But usually by drawing 4, you can easily see your Super Polys, which is really good going first, or also amazing going second. We're also running a single Polymerization. I had been running 2 previously, but I cut back 1 to be able to have the ability just to put in more like power cards, like Super Poly and stuff. You only need 1. You can get through to it pretty easily off your Vion, and you can recycle it off of your Wonder Driver, which is really good. Then we have Honorary Polymerizations, which is your 3 mass change. If they try imperming your Stratos or imperming a Vion, then you just mass change into Dark Claw or Blast, which helps you get through those plays. Mass change can also be seen off of your draw 4. It allows you to basically set up your Dark Claws very easily instead of having to waste a hero lives on a Shadow Mist, being able to add the mass change, and then you wouldn't be able to get the add off the Shadow Mist from a hero monster if it's sent to the grave, which kind of sucks. That's why I think mass change is pretty good. You run it at 3 because you want to see it a lot. It sucks if you open multiples, but at least you're still able to play through a lot of things even with it. And Dark Claw is the best card in the deck, hands down. It's the best way that heroes can play, and going first. We're also running 1 Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion can be added off Sunrise. Sunrise can be made easily in the deck. Funny enough, when the new hero stuff, Ian Shuffle, comes out, what you can do is you can Ian Shuffle for a Spirit of Neos, then you add the Poly. Spirit of Neos then adds Instant Contact. If you wanted to run Elemental Hero Neos like the brick in your deck, what you can then do is shuffle the Spirit of Neos back in your deck, summon out the Vanilla, then you can actually activate Instant Contact to bring out Sunrise, and Sunrise will have its effect since you have Elemental Heroes Neos on the field. Then what you can do is you can add Miracle Fusion off of that. So that's a way that you can get into your Miracle Fusion if your play lines are interrupted. I think it's cool. It sucks that you have to run you kind of have to run 2 bricks in the deck because you can't Ian Shuffle from your hand, I believe. But besides that, that's a funny combo line that you can do in the future. Just wanted to mention that. Then we're running double triple tactics. Good board breaking card, good going second or first if they have hand traps. The draw 2 is amazing. So if we have triple tactics, Crosskeeper, and Liquid Soldier go off, we're basically drawing 6 through our deck, which is more than enough. I don't run Prosby because I don't own it. Hopefully it gets reprinted in the tins. But triple tact is nuts right now, especially because it also allows you to look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card from it to shuffle into the deck. Kind of like a pointer of the Red Lotus. You can basically activate this if they activate a hand trap. Then you can look at their hand, and if you know that you're going first and you see like a Dark Ruler, you rip the Dark Ruler out of their hands. I think knowing your opponent's hand is extremely important in this format because there's so many board breaking cards right now. To finish off the main deck, we're running 1 ofs, running 1 Foolish Burial, we're running 1 Rhoda, and then 1 Called By. Called By, it's a sacky 1 of. It's really good if you draw it in conjunction with other heroes. Stops your hand traps. Rhoda, funny enough, this can actually add Crosskeeper. So if you have Stratos plus something else, Stratos, another hero, and then like Rhoda, what you can do is you can add the Crosskeeper, then do your Crosskeeper effect to summon Stratos. If Crosskeeper's negated, that's fine, because it's still in the graveyard, which is what you want it to be. Then you can normal summon Stratos, do your whole plays, and then, you know, the lines. Then Foolish Burial, amazing, because you can dump a Denier or dump a Shadow Mist to start your plays. That finishes off all the main deck. We're going to get off into the extra now. So we're going to start off with our Instant Contact target, which is going to be 1 Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. It's iconic. You could run Clayman or you could run anything else. I just like running the Wingman. I think it's funny. Originally, I was trying out EN Engage Neospace, which was required. Basically, we're going to have to run the Wingman because then you can use the Wingman off Instant Contact plus the Vanilla Neos to go into the new fusion. I think, what is it? Elemental Hero, I don't remember its name. It was alright. I didn't like the build because it became too sacky and you had to run the Neospatians, which kind of suck. But we're running the 1 Elemental Hero Flame Wingman for the Instant Contact. You'll probably do the same when Ian Shuffle comes out and you just want the Instant Contact target, which either would be Flame Wingman or the Sunrise, depending on if you want to run the Vanilla Brick. But besides that, we're running 2 Super Poly targets. We're running Dragostapelia for the tier matchup. And then we're running one of the best cards that came out of Power of the Elements, Garura Wings of the Resonant Life. Card's amazing. It outs the Splight board, gets rid of 2 of their negates for a single Super Poly. I love the card. It's dark, and also if it's sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. And it does double battle damage. It's alright as a monster, but the fact that it's just a Super Poly target, which requires 2 monsters with the same type and attribute but different names, is amazing. What you could do is you could do like Splite Carrot and Splite Red. Fuse those off. I would probably fuse those off first compared to the Toad. I was also thinking about running a Mud Dragon of the Swamp just to be able to fuse, I think, the Link plus one of those. But Garura is really good right now. I would just fuse off those two, or you could fuse off the Toad plus the other Toad that they would summon out. Unfortunately, that means that you have to out their Link monster before they can bring out the Toad again, because you can't put a monster on the board or they'll bring that back. And you have to worry about 2 more Omnis. But the Garura and the Super Poly is amazing because it outs 2 negates at least. Then, these are my 2 Super Poly targets. I was getting tight on the extra deck. If anything, if you didn't want to run the Instant Contact, get rid of the Flame Wingman and throw in like a Mud Dragon or something like that. Now, we're going to go off into the Masked Heroes. We're going to be running 1 Masked Hero Acid, and we're going to be running 1 Masked Hero Dark Law. I wanted to run 2 Dark Law, but I don't have the extra deck space. You could Dark Law into Dark Law, which is pretty good to go for game. Acid is really good in the back row matchup if you're going first. What you can do is you can make Absolute Zero. If I'm in game, so like let's say I'm going game 3, or even game 2. If I'm going second on game 1 and I lose to say like Eldritch Floodgate, what you can do is you can go game 2, go first, make Absolute Zero, get your mass change. Then what you can do is you can trigger the Absolute Zero with the mass change to wipe their board, go into Acid, then wipe all their back row after they set everything. So you would do this all during the end phase. Really good. I think Acid's quite a nice card in the deck. Funny enough, you can also do it, you can Super Poly their Splite board using any hero and their Toad to make Absolute Zero because it's water, which is really good in this format right now. Now we're going to go off into some of the other cards. We're running 1 Destiny Hero Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. Absolutely necessary. Best card. Probably one of the best cards in the extra. Keeps recurring itself. Really easy to make off Fusion Destiny. You can hard make it super easy as well. And then also, the fact that it destroys a card and 1 card on the field. Good, but the fact that it also drops your opponent's attack by 200 for each hero card in your graveyard is nutty. You can basically get like 8 to 10 heroes in the grave and they lose 1800, they lose like 1600 or 2000 attack. This is amazing. Nothing can really beat over your boards at that point. And it's even hard for Splite to beat over it. We're also running the 1 Evil Hero Malicious Bane. That's because of the Dusted Gold plus the Dark Calling lineup. And then we're going to also get off into the other cards. I'm running 2, well technically you would say 3 more Super Poly targets. I'm running Great Tornado. Great Tornado is for the Flunder matchup because you can't out the barrier statue any other way, really. What you could do is you can basically like summon Stratos effect to add. They're going to start doing their whole combo line with like Flunder stuff because they're extra normal. And then what you would do is you would wait for the Ryza effect, and then I would basically activate Super Poly on the Ryza, and then I would go Super Poly for Stratos plus their barrier statue to out that, and then you can keep on playing. We're also running Escuri Dao. It's an elemental hero plus a dark monster. Comes up sometimes. If your Vion is to be like negated by something, or they're trying to out your Vion with like a Dragostapelia, what you can do is you could Super Poly the Vion and the Dragostapelia, which comes up sometimes. It helps you get through your lines as kind of like another mass change target. Then we're also running the Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is absolutely amazing this format. Gains 500 attack for each water monster in the field except himself. If this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. First part doesn't matter. The fact that it wipes the board if it leaves the field, so you can link this thing off and it wipes their board, which is great for like breaking boards as well. And you can just also use this as a Super Poly target because you can basically summon Stratos, or like summon anything, then Super Poly their Toad and your hero monster away. It's great. I love this card. We're running the 1 Elemental Hero Sunrise, and then of course this is really good. Helps you break boards as well because it pops a card, and then you can trigger a replay on battle, so you can get more advantage off of it. Also adds Miracle Fusion, which is amazing. And it also boosts attacks of heroes for different attributes on the field, so usually you can get at least 3 to 4 attributes on the field that are different. So you'll be boosting your hero monsters by like 600, 800, which can usually just be enough for a game. I forgot to mention I'm also running one more mass change target, which is Blast. So basically we're running, for the mass change targets, we're running Darklaw, Blast, and Acid. Blast is for your Stratos. If they try to Imperm or Veiler your Stratos, you just go into Blast. Blast is alright. If this card's special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack. So it can out Giant Splight, put it down to 1600 when it was 32. And then once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 500 life points and target one spell or trap your opponent controls, return to the hand. So it outs like... It can out a Fateful. Or it can out Fateful Adventure, which is pretty cool. Then we're going to get into the last cards, which are our Link monsters. They're amazing. I would not run Engage Neo Space because of these. We're running 2 Cross Crusader and 1 Wonder Driver. Cross Crusader, you always go into him with your combos. What he does is when he's Link summoned, you can bring back a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard. And then also what you can do is you contribute 1 Destiny Hero monster, add 1 hero monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. And just, you can basically add a Dusted Gold. It gets you to your Dusted Gold. It can add Denier. It can add Liquid Soldier to go into your fusion plays. It's great. It's everything that you want in the card. And not to mention in the grind game, if they out your DPE and you can't bring it back because they negated it, what you can do is go into the second Cross Crusader and bring back the DPE and then just keep on playing because it brings back DPE because it's a Destiny hero. It's amazing. Then we're also running the Wonder Driver. Wonder Driver is to reset our Poly or our Miracle Fusion depending upon the plays. It says if a hero is normal or special summoned to the zone this card points to, target 1 Poly, 1 Polymerization spell card or 1 Fusion spell card or 1 Change Quick Play spell card in your graveyard, set that target. And then if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 hero monster from your hand. Second part doesn't matter. The fact that this can reset your Polymerization, it can reset Miracle Fusion, it can reset your Mass Change, and it can also reset Super Polymerization. It's amazing. Helps break boards, helps you go first or second. You absolutely have to play that. But that is our deck profile. I think the ratios are pretty good. Some things are going to change when Ian Shuffle comes out. I may change Cross Keeper down to 1 and then put like, I don't know. If anything, what you could change is like take out Called By, take out Cross Keeper, and then maybe drop 1 Mass Change for the 3 Ian Shuffle just to be able to play and add those. I really think Ian Shuffle will make this deck a lot more competitive. It gives you a lot of follow through and being able to play through a lot of negates and hand traps. But I absolutely love this deck. Heroes was one of my favorite archetypes when I was a kid, especially because I used to watch the GX anime when I was a kid. That was actually my first hero. That was probably my first Yu-Gi-Oh experience. I used to watch the Duel Monsters on reruns on like WB Kids. But the first time that I was actually watching it airing was GX, and I absolutely loved the hero monsters. I loved Avian, Burstinatrix, Sparkman, and Clayman. They're iconic. Wish you could play them in this deck. It's not good, though. Funny enough, also, Extra Hero Infernal Devicer. That thing spiked in price like crazy, I think because of the new support. But, let's get off that topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Hopefully you can take this or a variant of it to your locals or regionals, win with it. If you do, let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on anything about this deck. I'd love to hear how you used it. I'd love to hear the results you guys got. I will almost always respond. If I don't, I'm either blind or my phone hasn't gotten the notifications because I have that issue. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time.